March 13th, 2020. Three plainclothes LMP 13th, 2020. Whoa, I'm hearing this. Three plain. All right, folks. We can start over again. March 13th, 2020. Three plainclothes LMPD officers wearing vests, reading police, entered the apartment of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky, executing a no-knock search. The orders were changed before the raid to knock and announce, meaning that the police had identified themselves. According to the police and witnesses at the scene, the officers knocked and announced their identity before entering, but the police and the witnesses differ as to how they announced themselves. Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, and 11 other witnesses deny the officers announced themselves at all. Walker fired a gun, and the officers returned fire. Walker has said that he believed the officers were intruders. The officers fired over 20 shots. Taylor was shot 5 times, according to her death certificate. And the LMPD Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly was injured by gunfire. Another officer and LMPD lieutenant were on the scene where the warrant was executed. So again, this was a drug house, and we recently got, I guess, the hearing of this whole thing from Breonna Taylor, and now there is protests, I believe riots across the country, including Louisville. I've heard there's some in LA, downtown LA. There's some protests as well.
Seattle.
Oh yeah. The whole.
All right, you are listening to Transparency and Merit. I'm here with Brian. Brian, Breonna Taylor, and Objectivity.
Yeah, and Objectivity. Well, look, I mean, I don't think that when you're rioting in this country, even if you're protesting, what I don't see from the rioters or protesters is I don't see a lot of objectivity. They're not. They don't seem to be looking at the other side, and they don't seem to be seeing what is the best situation. What's the best thing that we can do for this situation? And I mean, this was about drugs. In my opinion, this is a big part of me is why don't we have not just for marijuana, but why don't we have all drug decriminalization? I think one of the things that we can talk about is less laws, because it's called law enforcement and you have to enforce certain things. The less the law has to enforce, I think perhaps the better. And maybe one of the things that we should talk about is the decriminalization or legalization of all drugs. Because
as soon as the pharmaceuticals and drugs became big business, I think government got attached to that money.
Yeah, and the big business that is making that money also doesn't want drugs to be legal because the pharmaceuticals gets money for the drugs that it provides, and then perhaps even the drug dealers who are making big money off the drugs maybe don't want it to be legal either. So, it seems to hurt a lot of this drug war seems to hurt a lot of people, and it hurts the most disenfranchised the most. And instead of decriminalizing or defunding the police, why don't we redirect their efforts to where there are actual victims? I mean, you can say that drugs are not a victimless crime, but they are a crime of consent. And I much prefer someone do drugs or even see a prostitute than somebody steal even a candy bar from me. Steal anything from me than do drugs. I want law enforcement to protect my property and my well-being. I don't care. At this point, I really don't care if somebody does drugs.
I have said this before, and I envision a day, maybe in the not so distant future, where people can go to Rite Aid and get a bag of Vicodin or a slew of other drugs. I feel like that is where this is all heading. And I don't know if that's the answer.
You know what? Yeah.
I just feel that they are going to decriminalize they're going to make access to a lot of drugs a lot easier, including some of the harder drugs, street drugs. So,
you know what, Joe? I mean, if they're going to talk about defunding the police, I mean, why can't we talk about making less things crimes? Maybe we need to redirect their thing. Now, Darren is here, and I gotta say that he's had a whole thing of dealing with the heroin addicts in Portland near his hotel, and they can be hell on wheels. But maybe if the drug was legal and they could get it somewhere else, I don't know. I mean, I think it needs to be investigated more. It needs to be discussed more.
Yeah. Darren, if you want to come in, you're more than welcome to hit that link and come on in.
Yeah.
Up to you. Up to anybody. If you want to come in and talk with Joe and Mr. Brian over here, I just want to say Mr. Midnight Movie.
Hey,
we are here. We are working on our website. Soon we're going to have an awesome house for our content. Some of our past content that you can't get, and some of our new stuff that you can't get, but it'll all be there soon. So we're working on that. Darren says decriminalize drugs. No aid for them either.
Yeah, why not?
Make your own bed.
Yeah. So I guess Darren kind of agrees with that. Just decriminalize it. No aid for them. Maybe you can't loiter and be a dumbass, but hey, why not?
What's up?
Hey, fellas.
Hey.
I just joined the show.
Yeah, how's it going, Darren?
I'm on vacation, so
yeah.
How's that?
I'm not dealing with the riots.
Oh shit! Because you know how bad these riots would be in Portland right now, right after the Breonna Taylor incident.
I was liking the beard. Where'd it go?
Oh, well, I don't want to sit there and hold my phone. I got my ear set on.
Oh yeah. So you're not dealing with it. You're not going down and checking it out.
No, I heard it. I heard it's not good though. Have you heard anything about Portland? I've been trying to watch movies and relax.
Yeah, I haven't heard a thing. I watched some of the live stream and it looked pretty lame.
It looked bad over on the East Coast.
I mean, it seems to be bad all over the goddamn place.
It seems planned to me. I mean, that one. Did you see the U-Hauls? They're unloading all that crap. Somebody's planning it.
Wow. No, I didn't see that. So
Yeah.
they were unloading
stuff for the
stuff. Party favors.
Yeah.
Stuff like riot things and protesting.
Yeah. Most of the protesters really are, I would say 90%, 95% are just there to protest and not destroy things, in Portland anyways. And then the later it gets, that percentage goes south, and then everyone's there to riot pretty much at the end. And there's more Antifa and less Black Lives Matter people.
So Darren this week had a post that he posted on his Facebook page, and it was about his personal journey through all this stuff we're going through. I think it was politically kind of charged, right? And so how did that do?
Yeah, I got I don't know what it's up to now, 7,000 views or something in that group. It's crazy. Wow. A lot of support out there for the people dealing with it in the inner cities. I'm surprised anybody's still working down there. I'm surprised I'm still working down there, to be perfectly honest. But I was just hoping it would, get a little bit better, maybe, and it has a little bit since the shooting.
You're talking about quitting a while ago. Are you still sticking it out?
For now, I just want to see what happens here. We finally got some businessmen back in, so that was nice. We have a big group in. It's starting to feel a little bit more normal. It's the first group we've had since February. We're a banquet hotel. We used to have all sorts of groups. We used to have like 109 people working, in the hotel. Now we have 6. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something, Darren. You've really changed your whole outlook on things.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I think these violent riots are changing a lot of people, and they're just a lot of people are just sick of the crap,
And even on both sides, what they're saying was going on down there isn't what's happening down there. There's no right-wing people causing a bunch of problems down there. I've never seen that. I've only seen right-wing people down there one time. In the other early times where you saw, some of them down there where they actually got together with some of these protesters. But it's really, really, really rare because they're always outnumbered and it's dangerous. The one time I did see it, they ran right out of town. So, and shot.
I'll tell you something. Yeah, but how many people who feel like you who have walked away?
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people I work with. I'd say the people that are that still remain there. There's nobody that supports this bullshit anymore. They're really pissed off. It's just too much, man. They had a golden opportunity. They went too far.
Yeah, they sure did. And a lot of it. You know what, Darren? A lot of this has. I mean, just a lot of this is just. A lot of it just seems to be like narcissism and just egocentric BS. And you really can't get to any of the root of the problems of anything when you have these individuals who are taking, are the one taking center stage, and some of these, these celebrities and these pundits are, they're emboldening these idiots, dude. It's ridiculous.
And I think it's mostly social media and it's colleges. When these kids get out of all the universities in Oregon, they're all radicalized. They're ready to go.
Well, they really need to defund college. I mean, they really need to defund colleges because it seems to be doing a lot more harm than good for our country. Because if you're coming back that angry and that myopic, then you're really no good. And not only the colleges, but it seems a lot of this stuff gets out in just other parts of the world. And it's every kind of college. It's junior college and the 4-year colleges. It's awful.
It's very frustrating for me since I've got two that are getting out of there, and they're pretty much like all the people that I don't like downtown.
Have they ever listened to Tim Pool?
I think my son might have once, but it's hard to get them to listen. They've already made their mind up. I blame social media. I have a friend. She's got a black boyfriend. He's very active in Black Lives Matter, and her brother is a police officer. And she was talking to me. She goes, Darren, you should see if I take his Facebook page, her boyfriend's, and read it, and she'll be like, oh my God, just infuriated with the stuff she sees. And then if she sees her brother's Facebook feed and sees it's all the way on the other side. And then you get them, upset about what you're seeing and what news they're feeding you on that side. And that's why everyone's so polarized. It's just like Barr said, they're props. You can find anything in this country to get mad about. Anything. You can find videos to support whatever you want to believe in or be angry about or anything. And that's why all these black people are killing cops. All they do is watch these videos all day long.
Yeah, and you can find
330 million people.
Of course, there are plenty of videos of blacks beating up whites and mobbing up. A couple of times they've even murdered them. The news media
doesn't touch those.
Doesn't touch it, and the internet censors it far more heavily than all, everything of this police misconduct. I guess. I
know. Well, that's the agenda.
Well, they're politically, and they don't want to debate. I mean, the one thing that I can't stand about these people, they just want to shout people down, tell people destroy everything, and no discussion. There's no diplomacy with these people. And you know what the truth is? I guess a lot of times when diplomacy fails, well, violence is required. And these people are not diplomatic. These people have little to no diplomacy.
Well, I mean, it's just so out of hand. It's so ridiculous. I told you about what happened when the Trump people did show up, right? Oh, when those trucks drove through town, and there's all these old people with red hats cheering, and then as soon as they went by, it's like this huge group of Black Lives Matter people, which normally were down there early like that. It was like 6:30. They usually didn't come until about 8 or 9. They'd be in another part of town, and they're all in this part of town by me. And there's like one lady that's screaming like she's just being attacked or raped or something at the top of her lungs, right in the midst of all those pro-Trump people. And all of a sudden, there's like a huge group of Black Lives Matter people there, like responding like he's beating her up or something, and they're all running for their cars and zipping out of there. They can't sit there with their sign, or they're definitely not their red hat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and they're the ones that are violent. I mean,
hey, that's what I've seen time and time again.
Like
I did see the trucks. I did see a few trucks come through. That one that pepper sprayed all those people to get out of the way. But those people had like 17-year-old kids in the back that were shooting paintball guns. They were. That was the only truck that really did that. They sure put that video out, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, could you have like even because you don't live in Portland, but like, could you have it? Do you think you could have a Trump sign on your car?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, there you go, dude. Or even a Trump lawn sign, dude.
I am curious, like, if I wore a red hat and went down into the protest, how long it would be before I'd just be hit over the head, or attacked. You can't. Yeah. You can't protest. You can't support, the right at all because it's so polarized. They're 100% sure they're right. They watch the CNN. They watch everything, how horrible Trump is, and I believe the same thing. If I believed the news, I would hate him. I would hate his guts. But I don't believe it anymore because I've seen how they report on stuff that I've seen firsthand, and I don't believe it anymore. I just don't.
Good. And good for you. That's a win. That's a win. Anytime I hear that, I think to myself that's somebody who's, using his common sense and his own judgment rather than letting the news dictate how he should or she should understand stories. Just
And
call it
it's
out.
I mean,
and it's on both sides. Like when Trump says Portland's all on fire and all destroyed. All of Portland's not destroyed. It's not
Oh,
but
as bad as they make it sound.
but there are people say, oh, it's a mainly peaceful protest. Well, most wars that go on, there's still peaceful places. The war's not happening everywhere, but
All the time. Exactly.
but there is war going on.
2 people, if they're not arrested, could break every window in the downtown over 100 days.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much what they did.
Is your business had any windows broken?
Yeah, all of the windows on 3rd were broken. They threw fire inside our hotel trying to burn it, and then they had to throw the fire back out. They threw a, one of those scooters they threw through the window, and our 2 security guards were there.
oh
Ready.
wow.
I thought they were gonna come in, and they were like ready for him. He's just sitting there with his bat. Come on in, I'm ready. He used to be a cop in New York. They decided not to, so they didn't have to fight that battle, thank God. There was hundreds of them. They could have come in and easily destroyed everything. They did that. A big group came down and destroyed our lobby about 3 months ago. They got kicked out for having a party, and then they came down and destroyed the lobby.
And so their chants are for Breonna. What are
Tonight?
they chanting? Yeah.
I don't know. You would know better than me. I've been watching TV all day, not watching anything political. That's why I almost didn't want to call in, because I'm kind of out of the loop. I
Yeah,
figured
that's good. That's good. I'm out of the loop entirely.
what is going on with the protests? Are they doing? I know they're protesting in Seattle. I just don't know if they're in Portland or not. I tell you what, they've been really cracking down on the organizers.
They should.
They're arresting people. Yeah, and it's a little different now. I don't know. Seems like there's just as many, but they're not. They don't know where to go. They kind of moving all around, and there's a lot of cops all around too. So like they're trying to nip it in the bud before it starts. So who knows? I hope they can put a stop to it, because we don't want to have to replace any more windows. Every window they break is like $1,200.
Dang.
They're
That is-
huge. Yeah, it's expensive.
Especially for a business that's not really operating at anywhere near its capacity.
No. We have 270 rooms. We have 48 that are open now, with like 6 employees working. It's ridiculous. But at least we're still open.
Still open, still open for work. So anything else, Brian?
You know what? I think that may call it a day. Maybe should we call it this one a real short one? I want people to think a second time, and really, you people protesting, you are helping Trump. I mean, because these protests are going to turn into riots, and a lot of people are fed up with the violence, and they're fed up with they're fed up with the name calling. I got called a worm. I was told to crawl back in my hole. Worm, and it was
You're
like,
too fat for that.
I am. And they don't even know me. I'm a stranger to them. They don't even know that I'm too fat to crawl. Maybe they can help me lose weight, but I don't even want to ask them, because probably But like some of these,
Where was that? Where was that, Brian?
I don't want to
Were you
say. I don't even want. I don't even say what. But no, it was on a web. It was on my local website. We have
okay, not in person.
we had a free for all community board, and I just tried to be nice about things. You being nice now? And I said, all right, I'm out. And he goes, crawl back in your hole, you fucking worm. I'm like, okay.
Just one last thing to irritate you.
You
Did I tell
worm.
you guys? Did I tell you guys what happened last Friday when I was cleaning the graffiti off of the windows at the hotel?
Well, you can tell it to our audience right now, since
So
What
I
happened?
was cleaning the graffiti off, and this Antifa guy, and I'm always turning around if I hear anybody coming. I turn and look, and he goes, "Stop destroying our memorial on our building." And I basically told him off, and then he comes back with four more. Like they're approaching me, and I'm sitting there. I've got a knife, like a razor blade knife that I'm taking all the graffiti off, and I'm just staring at him. I just like, you can't ruin our memorial. I go, I'll give you a memorial. Come on over. And they crossed the road. They didn't want to have any of it. I thought they were going to attack me there for a second, though. I was ready to sprint out of there.
Let's watch this real quick.
My kids would never fear your fucking kids. Especially yours, black man. Fucking idiot.
Is this live?
No. The sound seems to be awful.
Everybody's got their phones out. Nobody wants to do anything but get good video.
Whoa.
Wow, there's a huge police presence there. That's kind of what I've seen in Portland. I've seen it's not getting out of control like it was before.
Dang. All
They
right.
ain't gonna do nothing now. Now if those two cops got shot, forget it.
Yeah, we just had two cops get shot. Hey, folks, I'm hoping sooner or later we have just some calmness and hopefully discussion. Like I said, when diplomacy fails, violence comes next. And if you can't talk to somebody and they're making demands, you either give in to the demands. You either give in to the demands, you fight, or you flee. So I don't see. Hopefully, I'm hoping that there are more rational people than there are irrational people. But man, I don't have a lot. I'm kind of scared right now, to be honest with you. I'm afraid that the irrational outnumber the rational, and that's a scary thought. That's a scary thought for me. Anything else before we call it a day, guys?
That's it. That's it.
I would agree with you, except just remember there's a lot of people that aren't on social media that I don't think are getting so far to the left and far to the right. We're online a lot, so
Yeah.
we see the people that are on the far ends, and these are the people that are in the streets too.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people are afraid to be on social media because the left is so vindictive and so nasty. I mean, of course, you're not going to have a Trump sign on your car. So why are you going to post something on social media? They may try to hurt you.
they could.
All right, guys, let's call it a day. It was a good show all around. And hey, like and subscribe. This is Transparency and Merit. Like the show and subscribe. Thank you for listening.